You actually flagged the next one here for us as well. I didn't know this happened until you brought it to my attention that Arnie Schwarzenegger getting roasted here. Why don't you play this one for us too?
Arnold Schwarzenegger getting roasted on Impulsive. It just from my observation, I saw this. So I was watching Impulsive, and I'm an old school big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. Okay, I would argue that Terminator 2 is the best action movie of all time. All right. I hope that we can all agree on that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I got to jump in there just because it's one of the few times where the sequel is actually better than the original. Like, how many times does that actually happen? And in that situation, that's how it played out.
Yeah. I get really upset when people start saying that Die Hard or Die Hard 2 is the best one. I'm like, this doesn't even compare. Okay. It's fucking T2. All right. So anyways, I'm a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. And when I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger posting about the new Zeus movie, I'm going to put this into quotations, the new Zeus movie. All right. I don't know if you know about this, but that Zeus movie is fake. Did you know that?
I didn't know it until you said it.
So he put out this like an advertisement or like a poster on Instagram. I had my friends who know we all like Arnold Schwarzenegger sent it to me like, oh, Zeus. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And so it turns out that the whole movie was just a publicity stunt for BMW. Yeah. So this is the story. So he's on Impulsive, and I'm pretty sure they even mentioned this. It was the first time that Arnold goes on on a podcast. I think it was his first podcast. Usually Arnold Schwarzenegger will go on Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I saw him speak at Traffic and Conversion Summit when it was virtual. Yeah, good point. I don't think I've ever seen Arnold on a podcast. Yeah, really good point.
Yeah, I think it was his first time. So, and it was weird. They were kind of outside. The sound was not that good. He was wearing a t-shirt and shorts, He was really playing into that. It's a casual podcast. We're just chilling here, right? Yeah. And so then he says that, he was, I think he mentions before this happened that Zeus was not actually happening. It was a promotion for BMW, and that BMW got him promoting this new electric car, right? And, and so what happened, I'll preface this before we play the clip. So what happens is they're doing the interview, and then he starts going on about this car, and he's like, the torque is amazing. And he just starts describing this, the way the car drives. And then Mike, the co-host of Impulsive, he calls Arnold Schwarzenegger out. He's like, because the way that Arnold was talking was it was like an
sounded like a commercial.
Yeah. And then Mike just calls him out. And he's like, "Are we getting paid for this too?" Or something like that.
Where'd you watch the game, Arnold?
I watched it at home.
You did?
Yeah. We had a few friends over, and it was really nice. You didn't know I had my commercial playing there, my commercial for BMW. iX, the electric BMW, because I'm a real fanatic about getting off fossil fuels and making more cars, giving people a choice basically between the fossil fuel cars and electric cars and hydrogen-driven cars and stuff like that. So BMW came to me a few months ago and said, "Would you like to do a commercial for us for an electric car? We're coming out with one that goes from 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. And it goes 325 miles before you have to recharge it." I said, "Wow, this is really fantastic." And it has 500 some horsepower, 524 horsepower. I say, I'm in.
Is this a brand deal?
Are you getting paid for this?
Commercial right now?
Are you getting paid extra to do it on this podcast?
Why?
Because people are going to buy it now. Our audience loves it.
You want to tell us where they can find out more about
the day I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to give you the reason why I jumped at it, because it was very funny, the commercial, and it was a good product. So I said to myself,
his reaction is he's pretending he doesn't know what Mike's talking about, Yeah. And I just thought this was really funny. And what I love about this is, creators are the new media companies, and you won't find a reaction like that on a Jimmy Fallon or a Jimmy Kimmel kind of thing, right? They're going to totally play into it. "Oh, man, it must be a great car. Oh, do you have one yourself?" They would play into it, right? Because they know the shtick, right? But when you're going on, a podcast or creators, creators are real, right? We're human, right? We're and that's what I love about what I believe is going to be the future of media is it's going to be more real and it's going to be more raw. I remember 10 years ago, maybe, Gary Vee was promoting the Crush It book. Okay. And the way that he promoted Crush, this is his first book launch, right? The way that he promoted it was the more books that you buy, you would like, he would do things for you. And if you bought like, I don't know, like let's call it like $10,000 worth of books, he would like come on your show, right?
Okay.
If you bought like $30,000 of books, he would speak at your event. It was something like that. So he had tiers, right? And I remember seeing this guy, I won't mention it. I don't know. It's probably embarrassing for him or something, but I was even thinking about pulling it up just to whatever, but I'm not going to do it. So what happened was this guy was like a new social media influencer guy teaching some social media courses, and he got Gary Vee on, and he was like introducing Gary as if Gary was just like coming on the show willingly. He was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you took the time to come on the show." And, you know, like, the way he was saying it was as if Gary was like endorsing him. And then Gary, this was like really blew me away. And Gary was like, "Well, you bought me big." You know, he's like, "You bought me big. That's why I'm here," kind of thing. Right. And so, and he was like saying it like in an impressive way. He's like, "Well, you bought me big. Like you were willing to spend the money. That's why I'm here." But it was just like this like moment of like, you know, breaking the third wall, being like, "Yo, I ain't endorsing you. You paid me. That's why I'm on the show," you know? And it really reminded me of that. So I just thought this was really funny. And I think it's a good lesson to other actors who might, you know, step into the creator space and start doing this. Yeah.
I mean, one of the wonderful things about the content creator economy is the authenticity that content creators can bring, because we do have, as content creators, we do have a lot more flexibility than someone who signed an NDA or someone signed a contract, and clearly Arnie signed a contract. And I mean, it's actually extra like ironic and funny too, because we're talking about Arnie here. We're talking about the guy who was super cool in the late 80s, early 90s because he drove around a Hummer. And now fast forward 20, 30 years and he's bragging about an electric car. And I mean, I can't help but think, because I'm of that generation too, where like I grew up watching this guy. I idolized this guy, still do. He's a total hero. I listened to his audiobook. It's like a 24-hour audiobook, and it's just his whole life is incredible from A to Z. And he was the cool cigar smoking, muscle jacked, Hummer driving guy who's now bragging about an electric vehicle. And they called him out on it. We're like, you know, are we getting paid for this too? It's funny. It makes me laugh.
So I had a friend of mine point this out to me that Arnold Schwarzenegger played Hercules, which is, I think Hercules is the son of Zeus, right? That's how it goes.
Yeah. And half God and half human or something.
Yeah. And then when she told me about it, I was like, I didn't know he played Hercules. Did you know he played Hercules?
I did, because I watched one of his documentaries or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I felt like I watch every Arnold movie. Like, I didn't know he played Hercules. And then she told me that apparently it was so bad and the acting was so bad that like Hollywood and Arnold were like trying to bury it. And just as a big, you know, F you to Arnold Schwarzenegger for not really making Zeus, I just want to play a clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger pretending to be Hercules.
I am tired of the same old faces. The same old things.
Tired or not, you're staying here.
I'm Hercules.
So you told me.
No man is superior to Hercules.
It's so bad, you know? But I think
I've seen these clips before. It is bad.
It just, seeing it, it's just like funny to watch him, like, you know, it's like definitely not acting very well. So anyways, Arnold, we want to see you as Zeus, and I would appreciate you actually making this movie. And, you know, this BMW car, it might be really nice or whatever, but, you know, I'm sticking to the Tesla.
That's hilarious.